It's okay.
So good evening, everyone. Good evening, Lagos. Good evening, all over the world. My name is Aderonke Onipede, and I have with me my amazing mommies and daddies. I have with me the great Otunba himself, Otunba Ogunnubi, and Chief Mrs. Anne Ogunnubi. Thank you so much, mommy and daddy, for joining us. Thank you so much for having you in my studio. Thank you. Welcome to Aderonke Live Show. And I also have with me the great mommy. It's not easy to be a wife to a reverend. I have with me Mrs. Chijindun. Mommy, good evening, ma. You have moved away from the camera. We can't see your face away again, ma. Mommy, can you hear me? Mommy, Chijindun. Okay,
yes.
Yes. I can see that you are joining us now.
Yeah. Sorry, he's trying to see how he can come in.
Okay. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you for joining us. It's an honor to have you, Reverend sir. Good evening, sir.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you, sir. This is Reverend Humphrey Chijindun. So good to have you, sir. Thank you. Daddy is a venerable with the Anglican
Reverend
Church.
Humphrey Chijindun.
Yes. I was born and raised in an Anglican church. My Anglican church, yes. Marriage took me to another church, but I was born and raised in Anglican. So it's an honor to have me interview a venerable. It's a big honor for me.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes. I'll just share a brief profile of the both families before we go into the discussion. So Daddy, Venerable and Mrs. H.O. Chijindun got married in the year 1977, and that means that marriage is 44 years. Also, 44 years. They are both from Delta State. Mommy is from Ubulu Uku, while Daddy is from Asaba Town. Daddy is a teacher was a teacher for many years before he went into full-time ministry in the Anglican Church and retired at the age of 70. Mom was a nurse for years. Fantastic, mommy. Mom was a support the children ministry and set up our own school. She did an NCE and a business education afterwards. The both of them are living their life in reigning and building a wall for Jesus. Thank you, mommy and daddy. So good to have you in the show. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And Daddy, thank you, sir. So to Daddy Ogunnubi Otunba and Chief Mrs. Ogunnubi, Otunba Emmanuel Adetayo Ogunnubi and Chief Mrs. Anne Adeshola Ogunnubi, both from Agamu local government, Ogun State. My mommy is from Iperu, Ikene local government in Ogun State as well. That is a product of Muslim High School, and a graduate from the University of Lagos, a banker by profession. Otunba, Ashomo, and Olumoba Chagamu. They got married in the year 1972. That's over 49 years ago. And they are blessed with who are happily married. God be the glory. Mommy is a teacher by profession. I'm blessed to have teachers as my guest.
9 years.
At training in 1970 as a teacher. After graduating at St. Luke's Teachers College at Belkuta in 1999, Mommy went to University of Lagos to have a diploma in education, early childhood education. He worked with the Lagos State Teaching Service from 1972 and retired as Headmaster Grade 1 in 2005. Good job, Mommy. Great job. Thank you, ma. Thank you. So I think I have that Mommy, Reverend Venerable was once a teacher. Mommy Chijindun was once she still has a school that she runs, and now Daddy Otunba is an ex-banker, and Mommy Ogunnubi is a retired teacher. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, man, for being on the show. Thank you. It's so good to have you. So let's start with the Ogunnubi. Let's start with the Ogunnubi. So Daddy, share with us, how did you meet Mommy? How did you know that this is the woman that you want to spend the rest of your lives with?
Well, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be part of this program. I met my wife in 1970. 1970. Yeah. Well, I also ventured into teaching.
Okay.
And while I was teaching in my alma mater, Muslim School Shagamu, I came across my wife who was then teaching at St. Columcille Catholic School in Shagamu. And that was where the whole thing started in the middle of 1970. So until we got married in 1972.
Awesome.
In the profession of teaching, that's where we got to know one another. And we thank God that in 1972, we consummated the relationship and became husband and wife on January 9, 1972.
Oh, so it was just a month's anniversary. Your anniversary just was a month ago. Congratulations, Sam. Congratulations.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. So, mommy, let me ask mommy. Mommy, how did you know Daddy was the right man for you? Did you pray? What did you tell your parents? What were the things that you did?
Well, when I met him, at that time, I was a Catholic. So, because I was trained as a Catholic, so I started praying about it. Is this man my husband? First of all, 5 years different in age. I was shaking. I said, he looked like a father to me. But one of my uncle was telling me, no, that is the right man for me, that I should marry him. I said, what will I call him at home? He said, he's the right man, I should get him. So we started dating. But eventually, I went to know his family. When I got to his family, because my father-in-law had 5 wives, I was shaking. I said, what will I do in this family? 5 wives? What will I do? How many wives will my husband marry? But eventually, with prayer, God was telling me that is the right man. Moving. And we started relationship, and we got married in January 9, 1972.
Awesome.
We got
awesome. That's awesome. I like that you shared your fears. Your fears of someone from the polygamous as a brother. That's awesome. We'll come back to that, mommy. Thank you, mommy and daddy. Let me go to daddy.
That my brother is an uncle. And at that time, my mother has gone and died. So I hold fast to them because he trained me. So, and when I took him there, and I told him, this is the problem I have. They said, no, that's the man I'm going to marry. And that in our family, once you bring, can't change it. Say, that's the man. Then I maintain it, and I pray over it.
Awesome.
And we got on my side.
It's been great. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mom. So let me go to Venerable. Venerable, can you hear me? Let's go to Venerable. Venerable, can you hear me? Is Mommy there? Mommy, can you hear me? And Venerable, hear me? Mommy Chijindun.
Venerable.
Is there? I saw him behind Mommy. Mommy Chijindun, can you hear me?
Maybe they're not hearing me. They're not talking.
Their network. Yeah. Their network.
Okay, get to the next person.
I don't want to be sure you can you hear me, Mommy Chijindun? Okay, let me ask. I think it's the network. Let me ask. Okay, let me ask Otunba.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Mommy said that someone in the family with 5 wives.
Hmm?
How are you
Is it
able to
me?
reassure her
Okay, it's this.
I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, how are
We
you
can hear you.
able to reassure her that yours is different? Can you hear me, Daddy? Otunba, can you hear me?
Oh, I thought somebody was answering. He can hear you. So, what is the question you're asking me?
I'm asking that when Mommy said maybe she found someone that has 5 wives in the family. She had
Yeah.
fears. How are you able to reassure her that you are going to be different?
Don't forget that in our own village setting,
Okay.
a man can marry as many wives as he can, so that the women can help him in the farm. Funny enough, my father and my mother are both Muslims, so they are permitted to marry as many wives as they can. But I entered the school under the CMS, Christian Missionary Society, under the Anglican Church. So, and I got baptized in 1952, and from then on, I've been a Christian. My father allowed me to be a Christian, so, and I decided to remain so, even up to the time I met my wife. At that time, there was no question of copying what my daddy had done. And, as we grow in age and in one period or the other, we now know that it's not even possible for one to marry beyond 1 or 2 wives. You see? So you can link that to our own children too, who now we just want to bear 1 or 2 children. Not to talk of coming to marry more than 1 wife. So they have been asking me, how did you manage to bear all of us when they have 1 or 2, and it's giving them a lot of headache. So I was able to assure my wife that she should not bother about that. I've entered into Christendom, a member of the Christian Society. From the University of Lagos, I was a member of the Christian Students Association, and I knew what it means, what the Bible says about multiple marriage. So, being a Christian herself, through the Catholic mission, she was convinced that what I'm saying was the truth. And when she prayed over it, and I did pray over it, she was rest assured that I'm not going to mix words with what I've promised her.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's awesome to hear. I like the fact it was a self-decision because of your faith, the new faith that you found. And you wanted to obey God's law according to the new faith. And you're able to reassure that yes, you might have seen this before.
That's way back 9 years ago.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, but tell me, Daddy, during those periods that you met Mommy, was she the only one, or there were others? Why did you choose her among the many? Because Daddy, you are a strong young man, and I'm sure those days you were very handsome those days. So you are still handsome. So there definitely will be other women. So it was Mommy that you chose to spend the rest of your life with.
Well, as a young lad, those days, there's no way people will not mill around you. Particularly, at our own time, I started nursery school at the age of 8. Nursery school, not even primary, at the age of 8. And we did that for 2 years. At the age of 10, I now entered primary school and came out 1956 when I was already 14 years old.
Wow.
So So, and by the time I now came out of secondary school, I was already 22 years old. So I was the type that preferred to go for my education first, because my father had 21 children, and I was wondering how he could cope with that. Yes, out of the 5 children, I have 5 wives. He had 21 children, and I was the firstborn. So I was the only one that he could educate among them at that time. I now came up to help in educating my siblings, the 4 boys of my mother, and all the other, as many as I could, of the other children. So from that, I mean, there's no doubt people wanted to enter our house because we are from a royal family. But I determined that I will face my education first, particularly at the Unilag. I wouldn't say I didn't have somebody in my life that time, but unfortunately, it still did not click as it clicked with Madam Anne. Yes, mommy. Because some others have come and they did not click. So, but in her own case, she clicked properly. That's just the magic. I think God designed it for us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Awesome. I like the fact that you said there were others, but she just clicked. You know, that's awesome. So tell us, sir, how has it been? Mommy being a teacher, you were in teaching now, you went into the banking industry. And I'm sure in those days too, the banking sector definitely would have been strong the way it is now. So how were you able to, mommy teaching, you in the banking? So what are the things that for 49 years, that the things, the foundation, let me put it that way. What's the foundation of the family? Even though you had very, professions that could take your time away from the family, mommy teaching, you going to the bank, and banking, maybe it's in the evening you come back from work and all that. So what were the foundation, what were the things that held you together, as a family? What were the foundational principles that you had?
Well, I think it's pure love and understanding and trust among the two of us.
Love.
I went into teaching not by design, but by the wish of God. My principal then called me to come and serve my alma mater. I had earlier served with National Bank of Nigeria as a clerk before I went to the university. So but when I finished my education, National Bank did not call me back immediately. So the principal of my school where I left now called me, Tayo, because my name is Adetayo. Come and serve your alma mater. Then I decided, okay, let me go back to Shagamu from Lagos. And I came to Shagamu. That's why I'm lucky to meet Madam Anne. If I have not come to Shagamu to serve my alma mater, I will never have met her. So that's God's action. So I will have been married to somebody else. So while I was in the Muslim school teaching geography, English, and one other subject I can't remember now, we met, and it was very good that we met. Then I decided to look for other opportunities. So I applied to the federal government, where I served at the Meteorological Service, and they took me. I would have been an ambassador actually, but I decided to go back to National Bank, where the salary was better that time. So I did the interview and they took me back. So I resigned my teaching appointment and went back to Lagos to pursue a career in banking. and I continued my degree. I graduated as in economics, in finance. So I took that appointment, and as you have rightly said, the job was very, very tasking. I had to go from one town to the other, as far as Sokoto, Mungunu, all these war-torn areas. I was there as a banker in Yola, in Sokoto, in Abuja, and everywhere, up to Warri. So by that time, my wife was in Lagos with the kids, because I decided not to take them all over the place, so as not to disturb their education. So, but I will always fly down to Lagos almost every two weeks to see them, and then try to link up with them on phone. And with the trust we had in each other, the union was able to be sustained. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. I like that. I like the final word. With the trust you have for each other, the union was be able to sustain. That sustain is where most of we young ones are finding it difficult. Let me go to mom. Let me see if the Chijindun are back. Hello, mommy Chijindu, are you there? Mommy Chijindu, are you there? Okay, they are not back. Let me go back to mommy. Mommy Ogunnubi.
I'm there.
Daddy use the word sustain. Okay, ma. Daddy use the word trust that sustain the marriage. As a woman, and as a mother of 4 boys and 1 girl, that's you. You know, and you were sustaining, you were alone with the family. Daddy was off to work. How were you able to manage with your job as a teacher, feeding the children? They are going to school, you know, doing everything the same time, not feeling that that is just everywhere, traveling, enjoying, and you are here carrying the whole work. You know, are there times that you felt so bad that why are you the one doing everything? Why are you the one doing everything? Mommy. So when you felt bad, when you felt bad those times, what did you do? What did you do about those feelings and the work? So much work on you as a mother.
Are you talking about Ogunnubi now?
Yes, mommy. I'm talking to mommy. Mommy Ogunnubi.
Oh, okay.
Well, we got on our side. We could make it. As a teacher, and I was brought up family. Was a teacher, my auntie. So the way she brought me up, I have to take my children like that. To me, I count very much on my family, because my reason of getting married is to stand still with my kids. So I never allowed them to move with friends. After school, I come home to meet my children. And I talk to them. And they're not my children that I brought up. Because after getting to know that my father-in-law had 5 wives, and I look at it, how can I survive with these wives? Then I took over one out of this family. So making 5 of them to join my children, and many other more. So we moved together. I was training them, bringing them up the way I can. And I never get tired. I told my husband, move on. Whatever you can afford, send it to us. I will move with my salary, then we move on. Share these children. They are going to be somebody in life. And we thank God the way the children are today. So to be a family, one has to be firm and you trust yourself. You can't be a family then in the presence of your children, fighting, talking. No, myself and my husband never talk. Oh, we decide, we fight in presence of, although we fight. Yes, but when that thing is going to be done, it's in this room. And my children don't enter the room unless I ask them to come. So we go on our side, we made it. It's God. Because I always tell God, you brought me to this family, so be firm with me. And when we started, my husband said, I cannot be going to Catholic church. The name is in Anglican. So we have to be in the same church. So I have to move to Anglican to make the children follow us. And I moved my children to Anglican. And to go be the glory, the children started in Anglican and they started the youth service there. Immediately I see them not around me. I search for them. And I told Africa, please look for these children for me. So eventually I got to know that they started their own way. And I give God all the glory of my life for them.
Amen. Also, mommy, like someone said, Esther just said that you're actually a very selfless woman, and I can see say that too. Because you, apart from the 5 children, you also added another child, which is not easy, you know. So like you said, so that it's
over 21 is
First
in first town. When we are first town, we are over 21. And I'm including my own children, another family.
That's good. That's good. Thank you, ma. Thank you. Let me try the Chijindun. I can see them, but I can't hear them. Mommy Chijindun, can you hear me?
Okay, mommy.
What are you?
Venerable, sir, can you hear me? Venerable Chijindun, can you hear me?
I'm lucky. Can you
hear me now? Venerable Chijindun.
Really?
Okay. Mom Chijindun, can you hear me? Okay, I think you have to log out and log in again. Maybe I think the network from there, and their picture is very clear. I don't know why their picture is very clear. Clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're still here.
Oh, great. So is Daddy there? Is Venerable there?
Yes.
Is Venerable there? Venerable is there. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hear from him.
I can hear you. Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. So, mommy, tell us, how did you meet Daddy? Your picture is not moving, but we can hear you. I think that's fine. So share with us, how did you meet Venerable, ma'am? I don't know why the picture is
Yeah.
Go ahead, ma. Go ahead, mommy.
Yes.
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, sir. I said, how did you meet?
Yeah.
How did you meet
I'm
mommy?
here.
Go ahead, Venerable. How did you meet mommy?
Yes, we can see you.
Can you hear me?
Hear you.
How did Venerable? How did you come together as a couple? How did you meet yourselves?
Oh,
can you hear me,
for
mommy?
me, I met him when I was in school. He came to do teaching practice. Teacher vacation job. He came on vacation job.
Go ahead.
And we didn't talk about marriage, but we met. Our families have always known the ministry of the Scripture Union.
So when
I went for vacation job. I was a student at UI. Then I went for vacation job at the grammar school. Where she was. We were now members of Scripture Union
Fellowship.
and the fellowship. She became a nurse, a nursing student, when I was already working. So I visited their fellowship.
Yes. Continue.
Then I proposed to her. And then she said she was going to pray. Then I said, no problem. She entered School of Nursing, and they didn't have to marry. So I waited for her until she finished.
Wow.
Then
Wow.
we wedded in 1977.
Marriage came in many years after. Not immediately.
Not immediately.
The proposal was made.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So in School of
Nursing, still had to
those days, you're not allowed to get married.
Still had to be in fellowship. We had to know the families more, each other more. And I schooled in his hometown, he schooled in my hometown. So the families had always had things in common. Until when I finished my nursing program. And then we now did our introduction, families were involved. The fellowship was fully involved on both sides. And then we got married.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, sir. So two of you were born again Christian from conception.
And we have been living together since then, working in the same place. It was not easy initially, working in the same place. I had to resign from Teaching Hospital Benin to join him in Ondo State in Nakure.
Federal government.
College. Yes, it was a big sacrifice because I didn't envisage it. And I somebody that loved children. I was working in children's world. I loved it, but it was a big sacrifice. Yes, I had to leave. No. We didn't marry until after my graduation. When I had finished my nursing, we didn't want to get married then, and we waited. And we were seriously guided by the principles of the Scripture Union Ministry. We had given our lives to the Lord, so we're happy doing our things and waiting, and then getting to know each other more. So when we got married, we still continued in fellowship, which is the challenges.
So share with us in doing this 44 years of marriage, what were the principles that made two of you understand yourself more? What were the things that made it easy for you to
Many
understand
years
yourself?
later, before he joined the ministry as an ordained priest. And then we worked together for almost 20 years as ordained priest. I'm retired in 2017.
Let me share something. My wife speaks fluently. And she speaks Hausa fluently.
Wow. That's great.
I didn't know these ones before I met her. But these two capabilities assisted me greatly, both in my secular work, interacting with the people amongst whom we worked, and then also in the church ministry.
And being federal staff, we traveled to different parts of Nigeria. He alone before we married, and when we married, went to the north with our children. I think the greatest joy I had was growing up with my children in the school environment where they grew up. They were raised in federal government colleges, and we grew up together. They went to primary, nursery, primary, secondary school. Yes, I'm listening. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, network. Hi, network. Okay. Oh. Okay, I think we network there again. Let me see if we can connect again. We lost them. We lost daddy and mommy. The network there again. So Otunba, thank you, sir. You're still there. We're trying to catch up on the Chijindun. The break, we're not hearing them very well, so we're trying to catch up with them. So I hope we can still reconnect so that I can hear. I like the story they shared with us. The mommy had to wait for daddy had to wait for mommy to finish her nursing school before they could get married. That means there was patience. I hope all the young ones out there are listening to this. They didn't rush. The both families, the Ogunnubis and the Chijindun, there were sacrifices. That the Ogunnubi Otunba had to travel many times based on his work, and mommy was at home with the children and raising them, and she said she did it with joy. She did it with full joy, and she even got other children involved too as well. She will tell Daddy, send what you can send. I will have from my own salary. And that tells every woman out there that you also need to work. You also need to work to bring something to the table. You can't wait for them to give you all the time. And I like what Mommy Chijindun said. Mommy Chijindun said that, there were sacrifices they made. As a nurse, you must not get married those days. You have to finish. That's a big sacrifice. So their love had to wait, And I like what Daddy said. Venerable said that because Mommy can speak Yoruba, speak, Pidgin, Hausa fluently. He helped him greatly in his ministry and in his career. Awesome. And they were both working in the same place for 20 years before Mommy finally resigned. Because the two of them being in the same place, that's hard. Husband and wife in the same place. When they delay salary, that means nobody collects salary. Everybody has to wait. Then he share with us what are the things that the young men of these days, now is Valentine. Valentine is coming up by the weekend. People are showing love, even though they said we don't know how genuine the love is. As an elderly father, what will you want to tell the young men that should be married by now, but they have fears? They want to make more money. They feel it's all about money. Yes, money is critical. Money is important. But what are the things that you feel they need to have before they say they want to get married as young men out there? What were the words that you would tell them, Daddy?
You mean myself?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For the young men that are of marriageable age but have fears, looking for money, things they feel they are not yet there to say they want to get married.
Well, during our own time, we actually take patience in getting to know who we want to marry. As you have rightly said, we do not rush. Well, we did not rush into marriage. It's possible you meet this one, meet that one, then the best one, the best candidate for you as a wife will definitely come from her body language, from the place where she's brought up. in our own setting, we don't just pick any woman as a wife. We want to go deep into where she was born, who the parents are, and what type of family they are before you rush in, before you get into marriage. And what Yoruba will call alareno, go between. Somebody will go between the two families and find out the nitty-gritties or everything particulars about the two families before you now agree. Even the parents may refuse, but then after a lot of negotiations, you now agree. Well, what do we find these days? Is the child that will now dictate to the mother or to the father. Be he a man or she is a woman, will now say, this is the person I want to marry, and will not give the parents any chance to, help him consider the best candidate for him or her. Well, I will advise anybody going into marriage to be patient, to look into those areas that will benefit them in the future. There's no use rushing into wedding and rushing out.
Yes.
And that's what is happening these days. You get divorce, within a year or two. A well-consummated marriage will get divorced, even with the best of ceremonies that you can think of, where millions are spent. Then within 1 year or two, the marriage has flopped. It's because people are not contented. They never look for the grace of God in what they do. They don't put their matter before God to put them through in this journey of no return. A marriage is a journey of no return. Once you enter into it, except death, there's no reason why you should rush out. I remember our daughter, whom you know very well. It took her a long time to get married, and we were worried. What's happening? What's happening? And when she told us the stories of the men that approached her, we're not doing, but yes, this is a real well-trained child who will not just accept anything. And that's the way I look at it. You can't go to your husband's house with just a portmanteau and rush out with a nylon bag the next year. It's terrible. You don't want such a situation. You want to be contented with what we have.
Yeah.
The husband may not have anything now, but in future, God will bless the wedding.
Yes.
So I would advise young men during this Valentine, it is not a period for celebrating casual sex or going into morality at all. During our own time, Valentine was not very popular. We just hear Romeo and Juliet, something like that. It was of recent, maybe in the late 90s, early 2000, we now become see Valentine being celebrated as if it is Christmas or New Year. So, but it's much more common with the young ones, and the root is based on money, based on facial appearance, dressing, moral dressing, and all that kind of thing. That is no Valentine as far as I'm concerned, because those who started it did it for a purpose, to show love, to show why they are dying for one another. Is that what we're having now? Valentine wrote that letter to her girlfriend, if I can remember, showing her how much he loved her. And that, you always want to be a part of her every day. But is that what we're having now? Just go to the bar, drink, and go to the hotel, have fun. That's no Valentine. We should love another, we should give one another true love. And that's what I believe. And then how do we raise our future children? You begin to plan this year. Okay, this year's Valentine. Maybe the next year we should get married. Then have your plans. How do we raise our children? Have you got a job? If you have not gotten a job, what do you do? You can't get a government job. Let's start private business. I think it should be a day of planning a future, not a day to destroy the future. Thank you.
Awesome. Daddy, if you think about writing a book, that's it. I'm so grateful. Thank you for sharing those words. Thank you. It's a day to plan the future and not a day to ruin the future. Very good. Yes. Very well said. Very well said. Few words from mommy before we go to the Chijindun. Mommy Ogunnubi. So now let me speak to you on relationship with in-laws. You know, a lot of young ladies out there are struggling, to cope with their in-laws. Like the fact that you even have a wider experience. Your father-in-law had 5 wives, so your kids had lots of cousins, step cousins, and all that, and step siblings, and So how do you advise young ladies, young mothers out there, how to manage with in-laws, their mother-in-law, their sister-in-law? How do they manage it? How should they manage it so that they can have? Because in Africa, it's not just a nuclear family. It's a compound family. Extended family is very typical in Africa. We are not the Western world where they face. Even funny enough, some parts of the Western world, like in the Americans, they joke with their extended family as well. It's very critical for them. So how do we manage as young mothers? We have a very busy life and we have in-laws to also attend to. How do we juggle all of this together?
Well, thank you. As somebody that has got a good experience in marriage, when I married my husband, the very day we enter a room together after marriage, because that is exactly what my auntie told me. I said, started, before touching me, I said, wait. Yes, husband. I said, I want to ask you a question. This marriage that you have done, how can we make it to work? What exactly can I do for you? And then you will say this marriage is no more. He was saying answer that question first. And he answered my question and he told me that love his mother very well. That I don't allow a woman to annoy him because of his mother. And my mother-in-law had 4 boys, no girl. So I said, concerning your mother, just take me as the first stopper. I said, I will take care of her. And at that time, I've lost my mom about 2 years ago. And that is exactly what I did. I held my mother-in-law as my mom. My mother-in-law does not ask anything from the son. Whatever he needs, I provide. When he wants to dress, because he's a Muslim, if he's going to mosque, he dress, I said, Mama, change your purse, change your gele, change your wear. And if they need anything in the mall that they want to buy, I buy it for her. And she loved me so, among all the wives, she loved me, she lived with me. She lived with me in Lagos, we live together. Anytime she's traveling, when she says she's coming, we have to go and take her. And that is what the other people think. question my husband about. It was right into my brain. So I never talked about my husband, about my mother-in-law. We hold on to ourselves. And then to other people, to other children, to other wives, I know my ways. I don't get annoyed when they are talking. I either move away or I don't listen. So because I know why I'm there. So to my children, I help them farm. But children nowadays to wear unnecessary dresses. My children never do that. I buy their dresses. This is what I want you to wear, and they wear it. And these days, you find out that when children are going to school, they put another dress in their bag. I never stop and go to their bag. Who wants this pencil? This pencil is not old. Give it to the owner. And that's how my children know me from. And I thank God. It's God, though, that was at my back. Because at that time, if you ask your friends, the name they call me is Yade. I never listened that they call me Yade. I hold firm to them. And I give up all the glory of my life. The way these days, parents don't have time for their children. They don't have time for their children. So, but let's continue to thank God and to give God all the glory. But let's go far on our children. So that's the way I'm going to go far. Thank you.
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you so much. I like those words. Thank you, Mom. Thank you. Parents should play on that. Share with them. Tell them what you want, and they should stick to what you know. Like they should not create another thing for themselves. This is what you should wear. That's where Mommy wants you to wear. And cooperate with your in-laws. Accept them like your home. Treat them like your own family. You know, accept them, respect them. When they have their own time, give them their time. Let me go to the Chijindun family. Venerable Mommy, are you there? Mommy Chijindu, are you there? Mommy Chijindu, can you hear me? Mommy Chijindu. And the picture is so clear. I don't know why the audio is having. Oh, we lost them. Oh, went out again. Okay, I guess they'll be able to come back soon. Okay, we'll try and see if we can get them to share. I still have a few questions from Mommy Chijindu and Venerable, you know, on parenting as well. So let me ask before we're able to get them back. Let me see if we can try and see if they can add themselves. Okay, your final word before the Chijindu comes back. Let me ask Daddy, because every time when women are waiting, when they are waiting for the fruit of the womb, the challenge is seen on the mothers, on the wives. You know, the whole body, the trouble is on the woman. It's as if she's the one that doesn't want to have children. So what advice would you give men that their wives are waiting, they are both waiting, husband and wife, they are yet to conceive. Maybe they are having some fertility issues. Maybe they are not even issues, but the babies are not coming yet. What will you tell the men? Because a lot of these women face challenges within and even outside. People say all sorts to them outside. Then even in the family, they don't feel they are part of the family because maybe when it comes to baby things, they don't discuss it with them. So what can the husband do? If you are a husband of a woman that is still of a woman that is there to conceive, your husband, of you are still waiting. What advice do you give, you know, to those men?
Mommy is not around me now, but she's coming back.
Okay. Sorry, sir. Please hold that thought. Let me quickly go to the Chijindu before I lose them again. Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah,
great. You can hear me now. Yeah, mommy. Thank you for coming back. We're trying you and Venerable. This question was actually meant for you before I asked Daddy, but I'll still come back to Daddy. Let me ask, where Venerable, for families that are still trusting God for the fruit of the womb, the challenges are numerous. Medical challenge, so many challenges. Beyond the fact that they need to pray and wait, what are the attitude the man needs to show to support the woman that this journey, we are together in this? Please talk to our young men, sir. Do you understand my question,
Okay.
sir? Yes, sir.
I do.
Thank you, sir.
I read zoology, and I was teacher
Oh,
of
great.
biology.
Oh,
My wife
fantastic.
read nursing, and she
Yes,
also practiced nursing.
great.
So we were conversant with the challenges
Mm.
right from our youth. We
Mm.
lived life that would not encumber the process of childbearing.
Yes.
That was the first thing. And we trusted God. We were not eating, drinking anyhow, but we disciplined ourselves. And when we now wanted to have children, we believed and trusted that children are gifts from God. There
Yes.
was no magic, there was no any other thing. But as often as we thought we needed, God gave, and we are accepted. Now, for those waiting, we have come across some of them, and so we always encourage them to seek medical advice. Medical advice. That is very, very important. And then also, as the Bible says, watch and pray.
Pray.
As they seek medical advice, they should also pray and trust God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Venerable. Thank you. So, mommy, let me ask Mommy Chijindu. Mommy Chijindu, can you hear me, ma'am? Okay, for women that are old, they are already of age to get married, but there's no man forthcoming. They are in their 40s, they are in their 50s. What are the words so that they don't lose, and they still have their faith in God, but their faith is getting shaky because it seems that the men are not forthcoming. The wrong ones are the one asking them for hand in marriage, and it seems, God, where are you? Like my mom said that the favor of God is not really character, but it's just mercy. So what should these young women in their late 40s, their middle 40s, almost 50, what should they do? Trusting God for marital partner. How can they, hold on and still not lose their faith?
They will still have to hold on because God is the giver of all good things. The Bible makes it clear that children are a gift from God. And every scripture that we have known and used and preached points to the same fact, because we have seen people who dared God and took their own method and it didn't work. Some it backfired, some it worked for. But in the long run, life is in God's hands. God is the giver of life. We encourage them. We have seen people who married late and they had the children God was allocating to them, God had given them. We have seen people who married early, they didn't have children. So there have been a lot of variations pointing
Yes.
to the fact that it is still God. My advice to them is to believe God and never give up. If Sarah in the Bible had at that age and Abraham, the same God is our God. He has not failed. We have seen people who married at 50. We have seen people who married at 45. We have seen people who married at 40. And many of them who waited for so long had a lot of twinning, triplets, multiple births. God's way of compensating them. So there is no need to lose hope. They should not lose hope. They should not lose confidence. And the only thing I will encourage young people to do is do not do trial and error in marriage. I heard what Otunba was saying. You don't rush into marriage and rush out. Marriage is a school that does not graduate you until death parts you, until death do part. So it is very important. Times like this, we're not celebrating Reverend Valentine. We're celebrating God's love, the love of God, the original love of God, for which man was redeemed from the curse of the sin, the fall of Adam. Daddy has something else to add to it.
Please, Daddy, go ahead. Go ahead.
One other thing I would want to add about waiting for the right person. We usually advise our more elderly Christian sisters not to panic, because I'm not afraid to say this at my own age.
Yes, sir.
Men are opportunists. So all these people you find rushing at these ladies who think that things are happening late are opportunists trying to tap into the successes or achievements of those ladies. They should be on that. It's better they remain single and get fulfilled than just accepting any man that comes around who will now make their life a very, very misery.
I like that. I like that word, Reverend. I like the fact that you said it's rather they remain single than rush into marriage and find themselves miserable. Waiting on God is very key, regardless of the time. Like Mommy said, regardless of the time, it's only God that can solve it. So it's better to wait. And I like the scripture that Mommy quoted, that all good things come from above and come from God. Thank you so much. Thank you. Before we'll round off gently now, but before we round off, Mommy, Daddy gave us a secret. Mommy Chijindu. Daddy said you can speak Yoruba fluently and that you can speak Hausa fluently. So
yes.
is that true, Mommy? Is that true?
It's very true, because I was born and brought up in the north.
Oh, fantastic.
I was born and brought up in the north. I schooled in the west.
Oh, great.
And then
great.
From the east, I'm an Igbo. And we worked in the north. We worked in different parts of Nigeria. So it helped me to retain that knowledge. Knowledge is an asset. I encourage.
So
I even sharpen for my children.
That's awesome. So let me give you a test trial, Mommy. Let me say, okay, can you just use the word God never, how will I say it now? Any word, let me make it free. Let me don't give you the word. Just use any word of encouragement in Hausa, speak it in Hausa, in Yoruba, and in Igbo for the young ladies out there. A word of encouragement.
Jama'a, that is mutanen duniya, ku yi haƙuri, ku mai da hankalinku, ku sa idonku a wajen Yesu Kristi. A lokacinsa zai ba ku matanku ko mijin naku, ka ku yi sauri, ka ku yi wasa da rainku. Don't play with your life. Don't be in a hurry. That's what I'm just telling them. He will give you your wife, he will give you your husband. Trust God. He will do everything at the right time. God can never fail.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Mommy,
I love the way you speak Hausa. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's so sweet in your voice. Thank you, ma. Thank you so much. Daddy, just round off before we go to Otunba and we'll round off. Daddy, please say a few words to the young men out there. I like the fact you said, I love the fact that you said many men out there are opportunists. So our females should be careful. Our young ladies should be careful because of the need to say they want to get married. Daddy, please say in few words, you are venerable, and I know that you have seen so much, people come for counsel and all that. Encourage the Nigerians out there, those in family, those that their marriages are facing troubles right now, those that want to give up on marriage, they'll rather go after 10, 20 years. You've been there for 4 years. Say a few words, the thing that sustained your home, and you will want them to stand to it too as well.
All right. A tree does not make a forest. and one single broomstick cannot burn. It is together that the wood produces fire that cooks a pot of soup or anything you want to eat. That is one lesson we have learned. And we encourage couples to work together.
Build up trust.
Build up trust. Believe in one another and work together. Secondly, don't rush. There's no hurry in life. Whatever you want to do in order to make money, it is the sustainability that matters and not the, let me use the word, not the gra-gra that makes it fun. It is the gradual process that eventually works out. Then, lastly, the two members of the family, husband and wife, should not work at loggerheads. Whatever the husband is doing, share with the wife, and whatever the wife is doing, share with the husband and pray together. The family that prays together stays together.
Thank
No
you.
one
Thank you.
knows it all. So the
True.
advice, suggestions from each other, from one another, will help in getting the things actualized. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Venerable. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Thank you for those words. Thank you. Thank you, Mommy. I'm so grateful. Before I let you go, please hold on. Let me just go back to Otunba so that they can speak their own final words too. Otunba, sir. Otunba, sir, can you hear me, sir?
Please.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored. I'm honored that you honored me this evening with your words of wisdom. So final words, sir. What do you want? Let me start with Mommy. Mommy, what do you have for you are a woman with four men. 4 men. Mommy, you're a great woman, though. 4 men. So what do you want to tell? What do you want to tell? Let me do the reverse now. What do you want to tell the young married men out there? What is your last word for them? Either they will stay, the last word will be.
Well, my word for the young men who are married is to be patient with their wives, is to be dedicated to them and be responsible to carry the burden of marriage. You know, I said earlier on that marriage is a journey of no return. The moment you want to turn back is no more a marriage. You must be, persevering in everything, because life is not a bed of roses. There will be challenges at every point. Financial challenges, marital challenges, peers and family, friends will create problem for you. It is for you now to decide, this is my home. And as we are told in the church, if you and your wife do not agree, please settle before you come to the church. Like I was seeing in the, is it Facebook or WhatsApp? His wife, they were quarreling, and the wife is an asthmatic patient, so they began to quarrel all the night, and the man just ignored the wife. At the time the wife ran into crisis at night and tapping the husband didn't reply, and the next morning he just took his coat and went to work, carrying that anger of last night with him. By the time he came back, he met the wife dead on the bed. And that is because he carried the anger too much. And the Bible has told us that we should not allow sunset, when anger, you must resolve it in time. so as to save many things. Challenges will arise. And I urge new couples or will-be couples to be ready to face those challenges. Because God has already said it, that nínú làágùn wa ni a ó máa jẹun. We will struggle to get things achieved. So don't think it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. You have to work 24/7 to be able to keep your home, and then be ready to accommodate and to be forgiving. If you refuse to forgive and say sorry when it is necessary, the chances are that the marriage can collapse. Just small quarrel of what is it? Using the for
Toothpaste.
Well, we have used it. We have pressed the toothpaste in the middle instead of from the bottom. And that caused just the hula balloon, and they started beating each other. And the wife will go and take a knife from the kitchen and stab the husband. Domestic violence, that is all that causes it. If you know your husband is a drunkard, be patient with him and calm him down. Give him food, do everything. By next morning, the man is going to say, no, I didn't drink last night. Oh. I was only, playing pranks. Yes, men are noted for playing pranks. The women should be calm with them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
What's your name here, my sister? God bless you. Mommy,
let's just one word. Mommy Ogunnubi, just one word for the women, for the women out there that they are tired of their marriage. They feel they can't continue. Tell them what you did with 4 boys and 1 female, 5 children. And you still stayed for 9 years. So
well, I said it is God. And because my mother-in-law had all boys, and he was wishing me to have girls. And I was praying. At last, I prayed. I was telling God, my mother had boy there, give me 1. And at last, he gave me. And I thank God for it. But I never spoil her. If you ask her, she will tell you. I was firm with her. I said, I will beat her. Why are you doing this? I said, that's what I want. And today I'm thanking God for everything I've done. So we have to continue thanking God, because family is a home. And when you see the men, whether they come late or not, make sure his food is ready. I told my husband, you should not eat outside. Before you come in, your food is ready. Because as a banker, they close late, they will come late. Around 10, around 9, I will wait for him. And he has to eat. Then I pack out, and the children will pack the rest. And I gave my children morning duty to do, and they have to do it. If they don't do it, I go and I be there. They know me for it. And I thank God the way God has been them. So they now call me a very important mother. If not for you, where will we be? And that is true. Because I know my husband will leave early, and now we have to come. I will go to work and come in the afternoon. And I face that. I never gave up. I never have any other work except that teaching. And come in the afternoon to face my family. So we give God the glory. So let our young ladies know that marriage is for sex. You have to be strict with your marriage.
Thank you. Thank you, Mommy. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you so so much. Thank you, Mommy. Ogunnubi. Thank you, Otunba. Ogunnubi. Thank you, that's my Venerable Chijindun. We've learned so much. Everybody online, one word or two. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I wish you well. May the Lord continue to be with you.
Amen.
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 Yeah.
Thank you, Mommy Chijindu. I'm very grateful. You're going to teach me Hausa lessons. I will come for Hausa lessons at your place.
Nagode.
Nagode. Odara. Thank you, Venerable. Thank you for taking your time. I know you have a very busy schedule, but you took your time here. I'm very grateful. Mommy Chijindu, thank you so much, Mommy. It's an honor to be a friend to your children. I'm not your child, though. I'm not a friend to Esther. Now I'm your own daughter too. And that Otunba, I am your own daughter. I'm not a best friend. I am your daughter. Yeah. I'm part of the Ogunnubis family, and I'm part of the Chijindun's family as well. Thank you.
Pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Okay. Amen. Amen. God bless you more, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Good night, sir. Good night. Good night, Mommy. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Mommy Chijindu, thank you so much, ma. Good night, ma. Good night, Venerable. Good night. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you had fun like I had fun. Otunba was our hilarious man of wisdom and also humorous as well. And Venerable Chijindu, oh dear. Yes, man of few words, but very deep. And Mommy Chijindu, oh dear. I'm definitely learning those Hausas in Hausa language in our house. So sweet to hear her speaking. I'm so grateful for this. I'm Mommy Ogunnubi. Oh, Mommy speaks as if Mommy looks gentle, but man, you know that she's action woman. She said when they misbehave, she carry cane and she still beats them. But we are grateful. We are grateful to God that all their children are doing well. They've been married for 49 years, the Ogunnubis, and the Chijindus for 44 years. So who else would we want to listen to about? We need to talk to ourselves, the younger generation. Most of the time, it's okay to feel as if we know, but we know nothing. Seriously, we know nothing. And until we learn to sit with the elders, hear what they say, yes, we don't have to take everything in. We know there are better ways of doing things right now because of technology and, of course, access to information. But we need to listen more. We need to listen to that. That's why I purposely look for them to bring them on the show, because there must be a connection from the older generation to the younger generation. That bridge, we must build that bridge together. If we want to change the value system of our nation, we must see what and what worked for them there, and see how we can make it work for us. Is a word of so many things going on. Bad is now like right, and it's not helping. It's not helping at all. It's not helping. And our younger ones, our youth, our children are coming up, and they have access to a whole lot of information, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so if you can pick the good from the older generation, the innovation from our own generation, and of course the eagerness, the excitement from their own generation, and put a balance, it's going to be a fantastic word for Nigeria, especially focusing on the Nigerian child and the Nigerian family. Our value system has to be returned. The family is the key to returning our value system. The family is the key to returning governance. The family is the key to returning love and respect for each other. The family is the key to bring back God's word and restoration. And I charge everyone, let's take it upon ourselves. If you are married, try and take time to be with your family. If you are yet to be married, work at it. Like Otunba said, start planning now. Don't wait till when you have it all. You can't have it all. It has to be in steps. It has to be in phases, So please, together, you and I, let's return our value system. Our parents did it. We can't do it too. 44 years of marriage, 49 years of marriage. It's no joke. Sacrifices, love, forbearance, endurance, forgiveness, as long that no life is being threatened. I don't stand with life being threatened. I stand against domestic violence. You can hear mommy and daddy too. They said the same thing. So, but you will know such a person from the beginning of your courtship. Don't use this Valentine period just to eat and take cake and wine. talk, discuss. If you have anybody that you're engaged to, they're about to get married, this is the period to sit down, discuss with that person you want to get married to, discuss with that man that you're married to already. Mommy Ogunnubi said something. She said, I don't want this to happen in this marriage. What will I do to offend you that you say you don't want to get? Those are the key things we need to discuss, and we should discuss it. Communication is very, very key. You can see from these elderly couples, they communicate so well. You can see love. Their love might not be expressive physically, but you can see the connection. See the way they are gisting. See the way they are flowing. Nobody's talking over each other. They are flowing together. That shows you they believe together for years to understand themselves. And I pray that we will do the same and we'll be better for it, and our children will be better for it. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Aderonke, and I pray that this period that we are going into, Valentine, will show the true love to ourselves, show the true love to yourself, self-love to those around you, and of course to be less privileged. Do not forget that they are less privileged in society. If you can extend a hand of love to them, please do. Share a little something, 1 naira, 2 naira, anything will go a long way. God bless you. Please, there will be a repeat or my replay of this interview on my YouTube channel, Aderonke Unipedi. Please stay safe out there. Social distancing, use your mask, and please stay indoors when you don't have to go out. Be security conscious as well. The season is there, and so a lot of things will be going on around. So please stay safe. And above all, remember, the day you wake up to your dreams is your morning. Run with it. God bless you. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye. See you next week by God's grace. I have a wonderful guest. Yes, a big, wonderful guest. God bless you. Take care, everyone. Bye.